Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
And welcome to the Newcastle Crew Podcast, a podcast dedicated to the struggling NBC show Constantine. I'm one of your hosts, Lilith, and joining me as always are...
I'm Carolee.
And Rick.
So today we're talking about episode 107, Blessed Are the Damned. This one was written by Sneha Corse, and Nick Gomez directed it. I'm not familiar with either one of these people, but I think they did an amazing job.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good.
Because Constantine never feels like its own show. It always feels like another show. So this is my analysis this week. Constantine felt like Supernatural meets Carnival meets Justified meets Preacher. So it's like 4 different shows rolled into one. And I don't mean anything by it, but that's just kind of, it just always kind of has a different feel from week to week.
It does. It really does. And I only watched Carnival. Yeah, we were speaking of some of the guest actors, Megan West.
Mm-hmm, that was the Fallen Angel.
Mm-hmm.
She was great.
Yeah.
She was hot. I'll be the one to say it since Rick can't say it.
Sorry, she was well cast as Nate.
Patrick Carroll as Zach. And Christopher Johnson as Nate, I have to mention because he is a stuntman on Sleepy Hollow and Revolution. He was an actor on Under the Dome as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Right. So he was on 4 of my favorite shows.
I also like the lady that played Sarah, Juliana Harkavy. But I don't, like, it was weird because she didn't look like she should be his sister, but they actually kind of look like parallels for Constantine and Zed. And I don't know if that was the point of it.
Yeah, she seemed to be, at first to me, the same thing. A little bit out of place with Zach, yeah. I just call him the preacher. Zach. And then I didn't think about that, actually. It is a sort of parallel. If you,
like, visually?
Yeah, visually, yeah. Certainly between her and Zed.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Oh my God. And I just have to say this, like, Angelica looked really hot this episode. I'm sorry. I tweeted that her shirt looked nice and she favorited it.
It looked interesting. I was like, whoa, what is she wearing? That's pretty cool.
Especially at like an old timey, like revival snake handling, like pitch a tent kind of church. I was like, wow. They were in Kentucky this week, and I'm in Louisville until March 1st. So I was just like,
wardrobe's getting better.
Oh my God! Like now, I don't even care that we don't have spooky, scary stories. That we tell all our stories in the daytime now. Like I don't even care because it was so beautifully shot. Like it was stunning.
Didn't you have a wardrobe issue? I
didn't have his usual red tie. Or
I would not.
No, it distracted the hell out of me. I'm so random and OCD.
You guys, I had no idea.
Wardrobe, yeah.
I was like, is this intentional? Because I remember, I wrote on a forum, about 2 weeks ago. I'm like, are we not going to talk about how Constantine literally thinks he's a superhero and wears the same thing every day? Are we not going to talk about this?
That is true. Either that or he's doing the genius thing like Einstein did, and that's all he has in his closet. It's not actually right. It's just he has nothing but white shirts and ties and 5 versions of that same jacket.
Huh.
So he never has to think about what he needs to put on.
I think it's magical dry cleaning. That's a term that we came up with over on Supernatural because Castiel never gets dirty, and when he does, it's poof, magical dry cleaning.
Oh, it's funny.
Oh, come on. If you've got spells, I'd go with that. I mean, there has to be some type of benefit other than just,
My spell would be for magical ironing, quite honestly. That's the worst chore ever.
Totally. I would say go for that. Mm-hmm.
So what were your initial impressions of this episode?
I liked it.
Well, when it started out, I was like, I kind of sighed and went, oh, we going just another, villain of the week kind of thing. And I know we sort of have been, but they have been trying to tie it into a larger picture. But once we get into the angel part of it all, and the Feathers Angel, and I really thought that it was actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. I really love the way it kind of gained momentum.
Like, how you gonna try to have a twist in the last 10 minutes, though? Like, come on, Constantine. You have to have it in the middle. Then you have to make people scratch their heads for 20 minutes. Then we resolve it. You can't do it in literally, it was like, what? It was like 10:51 when the Constantine goes, oh my God, you were getting dragged to hell. And I'm like, no, this is gonna be a to be continued. But they actually wrapped it up.
They did. That surprised me, too.
Well, and... basically due to Manning, finally actually got up off
his buttocks.
Thank you. And I actually did something instead of sitting there saying, I can only suggest. I
can't intervene.
Right.
Okay, I'll just be the one to bring the elephant up that's in the room. Damn it, Chaz! Where were you?
Exactly. I have that written down. That was one of the first things I have.
And we literally have the smallest cast on TV next to Supernatural. Like, the main ensemble cast. It's 4 people. And we can never manage to get all 4 of them in an episode.
I can't believe it. I mean, I thought Sleepy Hollow had a small cast.
I actually, yeah. Well,
I thought, I'm still thinking maybe Zed and Chaz are the same actor.
Oh my God, I read a review that said that.
She said, is there something supernatural? Is it like, are they changing back and forth into one another? I'm going, I don't think so there. My theory is they can't afford them both at the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The budget is so small, they can't have every actor in the episode. It's like, what is the point of having such a small ensemble cast? And then you can't even get them all together? Really? Really, NBC? Really, DC? You let them pull this shenanigans with you? Like, be embarrassed, DC and WB. Be embarrassed.
You know what they should do in the next one? They should have Chaz and Zed down there and saying, well, John can't be here because he went back to England.
No. He's drunk, sleeping one off.
Back and we can't wake him up. I don't know what. But that would be great, going it?
That would be.
You know what? I don't think we're too far off from the next couple of episodes. I think they almost have to have an episode without.
They're going to have one. We talked about this earlier. We talked about it.
They did.
Maybe not often, but we have to have an episode that's kind of dedicated to Chaz. I got to find out what's going on.
They did with Tom Mice and with Sleepy Hollow. They didn't have Ichabod for one episode.
You're right. He gets sick. He just did the opening scene, and then they dumped him, and then it was all about the
everybody else. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I can see that. Right. That would be cool. I want to know more about Chaz. I don't know anything about him.
We don't either, and we read the comics.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just in Constantine was very much trying to get to know things about Zed through this particular episode. When she said, "Well, when I was growing up," and he goes, "Well, where would that be?" Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to that. That was some, I don't know. I don't know what to make of Zed just yet. But if you would be a dear, Carolee, and read us a synopsis?
Yes, of course. Zed's art class is interrupted when she has a strange premonition of snakes, which leads her and Constantine to visit a small town where a preacher seems to have miraculously gained the ability to cure the ailments of his congregation.
And I tell you, not just the ailments. I mean, he restored a missing leg.
That was crazy. But, I couldn't believe, I was like, they really opened up this episode with Zed in our art class. Like, see, we told you. So if we don't see Chaz and his daughter, going out for ice cream or froyo, I'm going to be ticked. That's all I'm saying. But I thought that I was like, oh, naked guy. Oh, yeah. I mean, last week we opened with Constantine running in his boxers, and this week we got a nude model. I'm like, well, they certainly know that there are lots of women watching Constantine. Sorry, Rick.
Yeah.
So they threw the shirt in. They threw Zed's shirt in for you, Rick.
But no, that was great. Carolee actually moved to the front of the couch when we saw that scene. But anyways.
I kind of sighed oh, she's back. But the best thing about this episode is that there was actually a point to that scene that we get at the end of the episode. So That made my day.
It was not gratuitous, and I like that very much because, I guess we can get to that as we go through, but I think that's going to lead us into
next.
Obviously, Zed's past.
Well, it starts in Briarwood.
Well, yeah, in the church.
In the church, this preacher is all doing crazy things with snakes.
Oh no, he gets into that argument with his sister because their dad passed away and they have this like small struggling congregation, and his dad was a snake handler, but apparently he didn't pass it on to him, and his sister's all like, don't use the poisonous snakes.
I think that's how their dad died, right?
Did they really? I don't think they ever really said.
They didn't say specifically, but I think I guess you could probably see that it might be implied.
I think it was implied.
It was pretty big.
And she's like, no, just go get the was it copperheads? I don't know what's poisonous and what's not, but he goes, no, we're going to have to do this right. Our congregation is dwindling. And so he takes a rattlesnake to the church.
You knew he was going to get bit. That's why when he got bit, that's where I hung my head. And I went, really?
It's not that quick when a rattlesnake bites you. You have at least 7 minutes, I think it is.
Well, but they were giving him CPR. I'm like, no, you're
get a tourniquet.
A tourniquet, somebody gets the knife, you suck the poison out as much as you can. You don't just give them CPR.
That actually circulates the poison. Well, no wonder he died. They were circulating the poison through his bloodstream. Now it all makes sense now that I put it in that context.
And he has the feather in his hand and he sticks it in his pocket.
Oh, you're talking about...
after they failed to revive him.
Which brings us to Zed in our art class, which brings us back to Constantine and Zed at the mill house.
Oh, well, at the when Zed was in our art class, the teacher said, "Oh, great job!" And then a couple seconds later, she sees all these snakes at her screen.
And then when they come down, they're talking over each other at the
that was
house.
Funny.
She's talking about the snakes, and then finally he goes, you see, yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about how his neck hurt and wasn't listening to her.
Constantine was Chaz this episode.
Right?
And one of the best lines ever when he eventually points at the map and he goes, here, you see Kentucky. And he says, in the middle of bugger all.
I guess that's their version of BFE, right?
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, I don't know. I like that Zed has this really strong connection to the map. She gets the vision that's connected to the map with, no prompting. So this is, big leaps and bounds for Zed.
Yeah, I wonder where she was. I wonder where the art class was, how far away it was.
Well, she said she rented a place in Atlanta proper, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have, a learning annex or something in Atlanta. Or, no, that gave me a community college vibe, quite honestly.
That did give you the old community college thing, yeah. Anyway, so we go back to the church, and he's in the middle of healing, and... Zed and Constantine walk in to check out what's...
Oh, you forgot one of the main things. John Constantine, he was packing for the trip, and he needed a lot of protection.
It was a hot mess, because that was just classic Constantine, though. Just trying to get under Zed's skin to say something.
So yes, now we're back at the church. The preacher starts to heal again. A blind man, a woman, she doesn't need her walker anymore. And some dude with a rash. Yeah. I don't know what that was about.
Was it psoriasis or leprosy? I don't know.
I don't know, but he had
let's go with leprosy. It's more biblical.
Okay.
Then the big part about that, after all that stuff going on, is he speaks Enochian, language of the angel.
I enjoy Constantine and Zed together, but I don't know if it's intentional, the way that they kind of write Zed out of character because she's hiding who she is. Angelica's accent, you could hear it a lot more in this episode. I don't know if that's actually goes to her actual character or if it just was a really hot day and she was distracted. I don't know. But there's so many mysteries to Zed that I don't know if it's out of character writing or if it's actually intentional. And that's the problem with Constantine at the end of the day. When she was emotionally overwhelmed, it kind of came out. What do you think, Rick?
Well, I'm thinking that it would be a really good device to use bit by bit to basically say that this is where she's from or hint at certain aspects of her past. But you know what? There's no way for us to know if that's just the actress lapsing I think it would be really cool if that was a small little hint to us that
would be
she
cool.
has connections in that, cultural zone.
Right.
Never know, and they just kind of leave it dangling. But we get to meet some of her quote unquote family question mark next week. So I think maybe that will answer some things. I thought the location was really beautiful, even though it was simple. I could totally see that. Like I said, like I've been in Kentucky for a long time, and it totally could pass for Kentucky. Well, the backwoods of Kentucky, out actually by where they said between Lexington and Frankfort. So
I've never been. So.
And I think that's why it reminded me of Justified, because Justified is like on the border of West Virginia and Kentucky.
So anyways, I think the next thing is we go to the doctor's office, right? And
Dr. Schaefer?
Legman. Yeah, so he goes, he gets violent on him. And the only thing about that scene I kind of remember is he sits there and Nate, right, he goes up to him and is amazed by, obviously the leg. I mean, it's unprecedented.
Right.
And he goes up to him and Nate goes, man, it's really hot in here. And he just goes, yeah, shut up. Let me look at your eye. And he's, Nate's sweating profusely and he's like not even bothering to think about that at all. But then again, I could see him being overwhelmed by the fact of what is essentially not just a medical miracle, but a miracle period. And that one was quick, just to let us know that yes, whoever gets healed will eventually
turn into a ghoul.
Mm-hmm. See, and this is the weird thing, and I was just like, I didn't know where we were going with this story, right? Because, like, this story wasn't actually, like, creepy or spooky except for that particular part that part, and then when the ghoul grabs Zed out of the tent. Those are, like, the only two, like, kind of, sort of, squinting at spooky kind of thing. Like I said, the tone is so up and down. Either we're doing really beautiful, stunning road trips, or we're doing spooky, gory crap. Like, I don't think that a lot of the fandom is happy with the back and forth of it all.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to settle in. I mean, apparently that's where they're going. A lot of this is going to be taking place during the day and in rural settings, and we're not going to get, I don't think at this time we're going to get any of that really gritty London, well, we're not necessarily London, but we're not going to get that gritty urban. We did a little bit with New Orleans, but that's
right. But we were talking about how many small towns they've been to.
Yeah,
there's always small towns.
Well, let's face it, that's where the real weirdos come from.
I beg to differ, sir. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm just so in love with this episode. Just the look of it, the feel of it. I feel like Zed and Constantine have had Matt and Angelica have had the best chemistry. This is the episode for them. I just feel like it's all coming together. And then to have, I was like, okay, are we doing ghouls? Are we doing demons? What is this?
Yeah. Well, it was just like the opposite of what happened in the last one in terms of how Zed and Constantine, the two characters, did in fact play off each other and did come together. Where when Zed wasn't there, I thought that was the opportunity for Constantine and Chaz to show some type of chemistry, which I think they failed with in the last one.
Well, that's because he always disappears mysteriously. It's like, yeah, Chaz, go wash the taxi. Definitely. So they go to meet the preacher. And of course, Zed, wide-eyed ingenue style. I want to believe. I was just like, Zed, make up your mind. Are you naive or worldly? Make up your mind and let's run with it. You can't be an awesome pickpocket and conning cops and then play this naive role. What is it, Zed? What's it gonna be?
Right.
She did seem to suddenly show a burst of faith, or at least a willingness to have faith, or a need even to have faith, that I kind of didn't really see coming all that much, because she did seem to come across more as as a gutter rat.
No, like I said, I don't know what the deal with Zed is. I don't know if it's just from a slew of different writers or if this is intentional. And that's one of the instances that really bothered me. But I loved her reaction to her vision. And we're back to these really nice, well-lit, dream-like visions.
Where she touches the preacher, sees an angel.
I mean, he was getting dragged to hell, so I was really surprised that I guess that light was not the light at the end of the tunnel. That was fire and brimstone.
Right, but she didn't know that, though. That was kind of strange. She just saw the angel. She didn't know whether it was a...
You would think you would feel that energy, though. That was the weird thing for me.
The dark energy. You'd think she'd feel that, but she didn't.
Well, that angel was a good con artist. She even fooled Manny. Or did she? Dun, dun, dun!
Yeah, right, exactly. Well... I didn't really, I thought maybe that she just got too brief, Zed just got too brief a feel for it, so she couldn't really interpret it quite clearly. But I can see a point. I didn't actually think about that. That, she probably would have felt that he was descending into hell.
Right.
That would probably have been an overwhelming emotion within him then,
Right.
But I like Constantine, like, he's like, nah, son, don't touch me.
Right? I just have a cold.
Constantine is just, like, he just blows his wad every time. He's like, but you could do me a favor and tell me where you learned Anaki. And I'm like, Constantine, be cool, buddy, be cool. Lay back in the cut, scope stuff out. Stop being so confrontational.
It's confrontational all the way. He just goes straight for it.
Right for the jugular every time.
I mean, he is cold, but he just doesn't play it cool.
And I just love this whole cynical theme. And it's just like, yeah, Constantine's cynical. He's damned to hell because he's a suicide survivor, you know? What do you want from the guy? But Zed doesn't know that yet.
That's true. So, next scene we see, I put leg man as well, but that's neat. A cop pulls over and, he kills the cop. And we see it on the cop's, the dash cam.
Right.
And then he doesn't walk away.
No, he runs away in all
like
fours.
Like Igor or something, or that guy got a shallow hell.
What's that about?
That was an interesting. It was turning into a beast.
Yeah, it reminded me of Dominion. The lower angels actually kind of have demonic qualities to them. They're called 8-balls. So I was just like, oh, maybe this is foreshadowing that they do want to move to sci-fi and be paired with that show, as I suggested since the beginning. That's gathered a lot of traction, by the way, guys.
So where do we go from that scene? Just to show us again how mean the ghouls are. He takes out the sheriff. But I think we went to the church picnic, right? And it's Zed and John again, Zed and Constantine.
She gives him the fan. I was just like, that reminded me of my days as a youngin' before like our church got updated. We had fans like on top, and then we had those little hand fans that never lasted through the doggone sermon.
Right.
They just tear. It just
And you could tell Rick I actually did take him to the Texas Fair for Texas OU weekend, but he's like, what's up with the corn? Why does it look the way it does? I go, it's roasted corn. It's supposed to look like that.
Well, everything's fried.
Yeah, I know, right?
Everything.
Fried Twinkies.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I've been to the fair in Kentucky a couple of times. You gain like 10 pounds on the spot. But I would think that Constantine would like fried. For some reason, I feel like he likes fried chicken and stuff. So that was kind of like, oh, okay. Fresh roasted vegetables for Constantine? Okay. I mean, he smokes cigarettes, for goodness sakes.
Right? And we saw, at least we have one cigarette watch. But he just took the last puff and just threw it on the ground.
That scene leads us to the fishing, and again, Zed's still going through her thing about, these people want to believe in different things, and she's going through her flirtation with faith, I guess. And then we get to the fish, the dead fish, a lake full of dead fish, or a pond full of dead fish.
I thought that was interesting that it would take a toll on the land, and not necessarily the bestower who has the actual direct power source. And I thought that maybe his sister was behind it because she was getting sick and she wanted to save it was so many twists and turns this episode could have went, and they totally knocked everybody for it. I was on Twitter and everybody was like, wow, did not see that coming.
We never found out what she had, though, the sister. She just didn't want to be healed because she was unsure of the power that her brother had.
So Constantine tries to call Manny and he won't come. So he gets this big old summoning circle and she's like, you're gonna lure an angel with drugs? He's like, it's dried myrtle, love.
Right? Cool thing, I thought, Zed, all of a sudden, is Manny.
Yeah, that was kind of nice when she's she's waving the fan, and then she waves it one time and then it's Manny. And it's
what?
All she wants to do is see the angel, and she ends up being displaced by the angel. Whatever actually happens to the person that Manny sort of becomes, or whatever that goes on.
I love that she told Constantine to be nice to Manny. She's like, maybe courtesy would help. And he's like, she's right.
I know, I couldn't believe it. That's really? Everyone, I see Constantine going, everyone, just whatever, okay? Let's just move on with this.
I'm the one who has to deal with Manny, not you guys. So.
Exactly. I thought that was a great scene. I love Constantine's frustration when Manny comes around because it's just epic. It's one of the only times you really see him frazzle.
It's getting better. I like it. I do. I like their interactions. I think their interactions are getting better.
Well, this went a long way, I think, to, again, just speaking in terms of characterization, this went a long way with Zed and Manny. in their relationship with Constantine.
Right.
So you had like two people,
right?
Like two other characters that they actually enhanced, their connection.
I take it back. I don't want Zed and Chaz. I just want a Manny and John episode. Like just the whole episode with the two of them. That would be epic.
They could really put some serious action into that one.
But he could only suggest.
Well, he's in it now, sister. He is in the fight now.
He even said, there's going to be consequences for me. I mean, he's going to probably be in detention for a while. I don't know. He's going to get...
I don't think it's as dire as we make it seem, and when we get to the end of the episode, I'll tell you guys why. So yeah, they do all that, and he kind of gives them the hint. And Constantine's like, oh man, another one of these vague advice tips, and he goes, all right, you're going to do it, Zed, because I'm not dealing with it. And so they do the... I thought it was really interesting because on a religious level, like she hums it and then the angel hums it back because it's that call and answer thing that they do in a lot of like songs and stuff and like especially like Baptist churches and stuff like that.
I was surprised she remembered it. Echolocation. So they go to where they hear the angels and they end up finding an angel.
Yeah, they find Imogen, yeah. Mm-hmm. That was a very cool scene.
Oh, Zed loved it.
Okay, so I watched this episode 4 times, and the last time I watched it in slow-mo, and if you look, you can see the black turning to white underneath the leaves. It was very slight, but if you pause and zoom, you can see the black turning into white underneath the leaves.
Wow. I see. We did not, at least I did not see that.
We watched it twice, and because I was really confused until obviously the very end when I found out what she actually was, but I did not see that.
I'm glad this was the week that I decided to actually put my HD TV to use, and my HD cable more specifically. And I watched it in 1080p, and it was just, I think that's why I was just so blown away by this episode. Like it almost reminds me of Hannibal with the use of the color. And I mean, that's what Hannibal is really known for, is the special effects and the color. And it just popped. Like that particular scene when they reveal the angels, the leaves are very orange and yellow, and it's like you can almost smell the dead leaf smell. It's just so vivid. It's one of my favorite scenes, just visually, of the episode for sure. And the wing reveal.
Yeah, that, and then they get back to the barn, but I have to admit, and maybe this is like I have to admit this sadly, but as soon as I saw her, it didn't even occur to me that she could be bad. I mean, I just think they cast that really well.
Yeah, they did.
And she was pale and she was wan, and it was really, they did that very well. And then when they got her back to the barn, and they pretty much figure out that what's happening is
they explain.
Right. She was taking someone
to somewhere. We don't know. Heaven.
Her story was, I was taking someone to heaven and I don't know what happened. Poor old me. And we all fell for it, hook, line, and sinker.
I did
big time. I fell for it completely.
I did. And
I think it's interesting, though, that all the angels have the same color eyes. Like, that's just the aesthetic of the angels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said that was cool. You know what I liked in that, too, is Zed, because Zed wanted to see Manny, right, when they were at the, and she didn't get to see him, but she does get to see Imogen. And when they get her to the barn and she's just sitting there, when Imogen is just sitting there, Zed's look is great. This is like look of like, wow.
I see an angel.
Yes. It was like childlike wonder, like.
Absolutely. That was great.
So, he makes that protection spell for the angel to keep the evil out. Little does he know how handy that's going to come in later.
I know.
Later on, yeah.
But before that, I thought it was really funny that Zed was like, Manny's here? Where is he? Where is he? And she's kind of sneaking around trying to find him.
Oh, yeah, that was great. And he goes, a little to your love. A little to your left, love. And she's looking around going, well, where is he? Where is he? And you can see her behind him, right? While Manny's talking.
I mean, she's this close to him, but he just, and the question, can angels die?
I found it interesting that in this universe, apparently angels have souls, because that is not anything biblical at all. So I found it kind of interesting that they said it, and that they can die. When the light goes out, they're dead.
Right.
It's done for them, completely and entirely. Non-existence.
Like, where do angels go when they die? I mean, I know, I know where demons go to die in Supernatural. That's purgatory. But I don't know where angels or demons go when they're like, well, demons go back to hell in Constantine, but where do angels go?
Nowhere. That's the thing. I think that's why it was so when Danny looked at him and he said yes. He said, we basically we just become non-existent. It's just, there's no other plane of existence for us. If an angel dies, that is seriously the end of the road. There's no hell, there's no heaven, there's no purgatory, there's no continuation of a soul, there's no anything at all. So it's like, in a weird way, it's like the last possible stop in the road.
That's interesting.
But,
yeah.
I mean, you would think that they would have a place since, I mean, they do all of God's bidding. Like, just on a biblical level. Right. It's just kind of sad if you actually stop and think about it. So, yeah, I thought that was an interesting conversation, and it ups the ante. And it made me feel like Constantine really did want to help her. Like, he's like, we need to find that feather. Not, if it's something in it for me, I'll do it. I thought that was very curious, too. That kind of showing and telling of Constantine just a little bit. For all the cynical and, criticism that he waves at, Zed for thinking that, just that guy has divine powers with good intentions, deep down somewhere, Constantine kind of still wants to believe.
It's the way I feel is like he's seen the whole picture. And he doesn't really, it's not a matter of belief for him anymore. It's a matter of some sort of survival. It's not a matter of faith for Constantine anymore. He knows that.
Even the good guys are douchebags, though. That's the thing.
I know. You can't trust anyone out there. That's all he's saying. It's like, it's not going to be a little prayer. He goes, you still got to work at it.
Yeah, I did like that message.
So then we move back to the preacher's house, to Zach's house, and that's when his sister refuses. He finds out his sister's sick, and that's when she refuses to be healed by him, and he throws her out.
That was a straight up homage to Carnival.
So she takes off, and then we have. That's when we get the scene with Zed in the tent, right? She's setting up the tent, and he asks her if, she says she was a Girl Scout, and that's another point where Constantine tries to pry into her past. I can't remember exactly what he asked her about that, but she kind of blows him off, and he goes, it'd be nice if like I could be the mysterious one. She has him hooked.
I don't know if he's hooked, but he wants to know, like, he got that revelation from, Papa Midnight. And so, like, everybody's suspect. And she's just so guarded. And like, he's not used to that. He can crack people. I mean, he basically has a cult devoted to him. Like, let's just be real.
Yeah, his very much, in his own personal world, is used to being in control of the people around him. He knows that there's a certain demonic world out there that, he can do his best to control, but that's always going to be, a little out there. But, yeah, you're right. He is. And he probably sees Zed as someone he should be able to, understand.
Chaz, right?
Yeah, I think he has Chaz. He knows Chaz. Yeah. And then, the leg man, Nate, drags her. He drags her out of the tent, and Constantine comes back.
Like
taken. And Constantine comes back, and that's when he, he gets knocked to the ground, looks about, and finds his blade that he got from the Grim Reaper, and basically does away with.
I know, like, it was weird how they dealt with the ghouls. Like, okay, these are just poor people, like not poor people, but poor people who had faith and went to the wrong preacher, and now this guy is dead. Like, that's sad. And like, it was just like, it was like literally no thought was given to that particular instance. Like, we just kind of pan away. It's like, ooh, we're babies and object permanence isn't a thing. So fast forward to after they killed poor leg man. Oh my God, he shows up. Like, what guy first of all, come on, Constantine looks shady as heck. Like, I know, and he goes, I know about the feather. Okay, you're not coming into my house. I'm calling the cops. There's some crazy guy screaming about a feather on my porch. You better come get him before I shoot him. Like,
And, I kind of like this line because it had a certain, I don't know, for me it was a little bit, I mean, I know it wasn't because the way he said it, but it came across a little tongue-in-cheek. After, Constantine reaches for the feather and he gets blown across the room, Zach goes, it was the feather, not me. So that's like rubbing, that's insult to injury. You just get beat up by a feather.
Think of it that way.
I do.
That's a good one.
And he goes, oh, so now Constantine's the evil one. Okay, if that's the case, then how did Zed get the feather? Like, if it's supposed to, it was weird. I didn't understand that.
She lies to the preacher about John saying, I'm not so sure if I should have brought him here. I think he has a darkness about him. I think she talks to the preacher and says, I need some help. Can you guide me? And he goes, yes, we're going to have a baptism later on.
I get
today.
that, but I'm saying if the feather, senses somebody wanting to take it from him and just all out considers him to be evil, if the feather is its own sentient thing, you know what I'm saying? Then how does Zed get it off of his neck during the baptism?
Are you saying because Zed basically went to him and presented herself as being very innocent and faithful?
I have a couple of theories. One, didn't he put a protective spell?
He did around the barn.
Around the barn.
Yeah.
But did that affect the feather?
No, he just tried to blatantly grab the feather. Maybe what he did is he did it as a
evil.
He was aggressive. Maybe that was probably too aggressive, and then the feather defended itself. I'm sorry. And maybe when Zed, came into the fold and said, I really do want to do this, and she's going to trust him enough to be baptized out there.
Maybe it had something to do with the baptism in water. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, water is a really powerful religious symbol, so maybe. There's no telling with Constantina again.
However we look at it, she managed to get it to get it away from him.
Right. And all ghoul breaks out.
That's right. And that was great. Yeah, the ghouls start showing up. Constantine's kind of playing home run derby with him. He's getting his bat out and swinging away. I'm going, now it's gone.
And then the feather starts protecting Zed. I thought that was pretty cool. But the ghouls trying to get the feather, that was just weird. That whole twist that the ghouls belonged to her and they were trying to get the feather, did they all go back to normal, or do we see a resolution to that?
They did.
When he was in the church, and they did go back to normal. When the feather was replaced.
Oh yeah, they didn't get to keep their healing. That's right. I like that scene where he has the preacher in the church with him, and he's leaning on a pew trying to keep the evil out. Really? Thanks for this composition of the scene.
Yeah, and it's sitting on
and all the
windows. A little help here.
All the windows are open, anyways. So.
There's just their windows.
and they have that conversation, and that again, it's one of those classic. All right, Johnny, think. What's going on here? One of those classic situations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it, right? Because that's when Constantine actually realizes what's going on, because Zach tells him, I actually ran over someone. I thought it was a deer, and then. Wait a minute, you were going to hell because you killed someone. You weren't going to heaven. And then he goes, oh. I love it when Constantine has his revelations. It's he just goes, oh, what an idiot. John, what were you thinking? But, yeah.
And so Zed's running to get this doggone feather back to the angel. And, as soon as Constantine figures it out, he goes running after Zed. And he's too late. But before that, while that's all going on, Manny and Imogen are having this conversation. And it's eye-opening.
Which was
I like that.
A tremendous conversation. Yes.
Definitely.
So it's humans are doggone damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. The good angels hate us and the bad angels hate us. What hope do we have?
That's
it's true.
I would be jealous if I was an angel, though. If you Dogma happens to be one of my favorite movies. I could see that.
Did you ever see Wings of Desire?
No.
It's a movie. It's Peter Falk's in it, and it's about angels. And it has the same concept that angels, they can't feel anything, they can't do anything. So Peter Falk, as it turns out, oddly enough, is playing himself. But the conceit is that he used to be an angel, and he gave up. He gave up his angelhood.
Oh, is that the one that City of Angels is based on, that French movie? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so he basically gives up his immortality and everything just to be a human being, and is sitting there, and it's a cold morning, and he can still see angels, but he's not.
But he can feel.
Right, he can feel now. And one of the angels looks at him. He goes, "Well, what's so great about it?" And he was standing there getting a cup of coffee on a cold morning, and he goes, "Well, because it's cold, and you can feel it, and you get this hot drink, this coffee, and you take a sip of it." And he goes, "Oh, it's great." He goes, "It makes you feel so warm inside." And the angel's getting all jealous. He goes, "But this is the greatest thing ever." And he takes out a cigarette, and he lights a cigarette, and he takes a deep breath, and he just blows it. He goes, it was worth it. It was worth all immortality. And that's why I thought that was a really tremendous conversation.
He caught himself. He was on the verge of being a blasphemer, son. And I was just like, and he caught himself. And I was like, thanks for showing your true colors, Manny.
So I just like the fact that he asked her about pain, and then she describes pain.
Sunshine.
And then he goes into, well, how did it feel when sunshine first hit your skin? Mm-hmm. I thought that was really good. I thought that was very good writing.
So basically, she just wanted to break through the planes. She didn't want to be a dark / falling angel, Earth, right? She wanted to be an angel on Earth, and have feelings.
Yeah, and basically say, because essentially that world and that place and everything that's beautiful about it has been wasted upon, once again, us peons.
Us stupid little meat bags.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the message was. That was, I think, probably, I'm not going to say exactly, but I think that to me is probably one of the best scenes that they've put together in the 7 episodes. I really like it.
Oh yeah, definite. And so Zed comes rushing in with the feather, and I don't know how he caught up to Zed so quick, but literally right after she puts it where it's supposed to be, the wings turn black and the whole thing turns black, and everybody, Manny, Constantine, and Zed are like,
what?
Say what now? Come again for Big Fudge?
That got me, that's for sure.
No, that was great. And then she does her little loops around the barn.
She couldn't get out like a little fly.
Yeah,
but she couldn't get out because of the protection stuff.
Right, which oddly enough worked in the opposite way that he had actually planned. I just want to go back to one small thing here because I just want to say it's kind of like, well, actually we can talk about it later because it's one of my favorite scenes.
Okay.
So she freaks out and she grabs Zed and she threatens to kill her, and John is just pleading with Manny to help him. And for a quick second, you think maybe Zed is gonna die, but I was like, no, I remember seeing her in a couple of episodes. So how are we gonna resolve this? So he disappears, and John Constantine goes off, and then he reappears in Zed's body, and he rips this angel's black beating heart out.
Oh my gosh!
I was like, finish her! I was like, Mortal Kombat, 90s kid, yay!
Sadly enough, I know she had to go, but I was a little bit going, boy, maybe if we could have just preserved her for a later episode.
Well, we could have flipped her into a good angel.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was really cool that Manny intervened. I like that.
Yeah, and I think we all agree on that was like a major step for the series as well, because Manny's in the game now in a way that he hadn't been before.
In a way that apparently no angel is supposed to be.
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so Constantine takes the heart away from him. He's like, you don't want to hold on to that too long. That's concentrated evil.
Yes.
Oh, that's great, because all of a sudden Zed comes back to Zed when Manny leaves her, and she goes, what is this? It's like, well, let me just hold
poop?
that.
What happened? With Constantine, you never know. So they kind of go back to the bunker, and I was surprised to see Manny in the bunker since it's warded against everything. But I guess if you invite somebody in, it's fine. And we got some more Easter eggs that I'll get to in a little bit.
Good.
You know what I liked is Constantine says that Imogen's heart is like concentrated evil, pure evil, and he keeps it in a jar. So he has pure evil right there in that jar. I'm wondering if it might not come back at one point in time.
That's definitely going to come back because we're supposed to. Spoiler alert, guys! I'm going to give you 3 seconds. So we have a fallen angel and we have her heart. Now, first of the fallen is also a fallen angel. And you gotta fight fire with fire sometimes, right?
There you go. So that's why it's good. I mean, they made a point.
I gotcha now.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I like that. And I like that Manny's kind of like, I have to kind of go answer to the big bosses. But I don't know that that's quite true. I feel like hell is doing something that it wasn't supposed, well, maybe not even hell, just evil in general is doing something that it isn't supposed to do. It's like, if he had to go on trial, I'd be like, extenuating circumstances?
I would think so in this particular case, especially if everyone seems to know, like he said, that the rift or the wall between hell and earth is getting thinner and thinner.
Yes,
and it seems like, and he says it seems like anyone who wants to get out of hell now can anytime they want.
Anytime they want to.
Yeah.
But the end scene, which is my gratuitous in a good way scene is Zed in a bathtub. They give it to me both ways. I can't even get mad about it. You know, they get gratuitous with a guy, they get gratuitous with a girl, so it's like equal eye candy opportunity. She's like, I can't meet you right now. I'm decompressing from a really bad case.
Yeah, like just says,
I had a really bad day today.
I don't think I'd be any good tonight. What does that
Well,
mean?
girl has needs. Constantine ain't giving it to her, so.
Right?
Oh, God. So, anyways, but that did work out well because so she meets the model and he turns out to be working for.
I don't know what they're calling it in Constantine TV show. I think they're going to be something Crusaders, if I remember right.
Oh yes, it's right. There is. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't think. There is. You're right. There is Crusaders in there too.
But that took me.
Yeah, Zed missed it by a hair, but he's like, there's always tomorrow, shady guy in the back.
Right? I mean, this was a great episode for what, WTF, what my scene, you know? I mean, I did not expect that at all, because I certainly didn't expect that mean dude in the back of the car.
Yeah, no, that's cool, yeah. And that, again, once again, speaking to Zed's past, that's all going to have to be cleaned up. And now, now we have another loose end that we can have fun with.
Right.
I mean, but we have 6 episodes left, and I'm just nervous. Okay, so the fun fact about this week's episode title, does anybody know where it comes from?
Fail this one. No.
At first glance, you might think it's kind of like a reverse take on Blessed Are the Meek, for they will inherit the earth. But actually, since this show loves music, it's a group called the Disciples, and they have a song called Blessed Are the Day.
Oh. They're called, or they have a song called Blessed Are the Damned.
Yeah, they have a song called Blessed Are the Damned. The name of the group is The Disciples. It's from like 2008, I think. But okay, so we got Easter eggs. Yeah, it's not actually that many.
I have none.
You didn't have any this week, Carolee. Now you disappointed me. You did so good last week.
I did do good last week. Well,
she's like, I set the bar too high. Somebody, I saw on Twitter, they wanted to know what the Bible verse was. I don't think it was an actual Bible verse, just biblical sounding stuff. But I think it says something like God is the Father, Jesus is the Son, and the Holy Ghost is forever and
that
ever.
Was on the box with the rattlesnake.
Oh,
yeah.
No, that's not. It's not.
So when they said they were going to Kentucky, like, I was like, House of Mystery? House of Mystery? Oh. Okay, so the House of Mystery is just like, he owns a house. That's the house John owns, but it's actually split with Cain. Like, yeah, that came from the Bible.
Ah.
But it actually, the cool thing about it is that it exists on Earth and then in a place called the Dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought maybe we might see that. But then I thought about it, and basically I think that's why we have the Mill House, is basically this TV universe's House of Mystery.
Oh, okay.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah.
It makes sense, though.
Well, I've kind of grown fond of the Mill House.
I like it.
Well, I absolutely love it. But my biggest fangirl squee of the night had to be the Medusa mask. Did you see it? Where he sits the heart right next to that mask?
I missed it. And they had Medusa on
Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow.
Well, they had
this
a Gorgon.
Week. Well, Gorgon, yes.
Wasn't the Medusa.
Well, not yeah.
Well, it's not necessarily Medusa. What the mask is a golden faceplate, and it has the power to manipulate emotions. And it was worn by Psycho Pirate, who is like a supervillain. And it also, in the later years, it is it has a connection to the emotional spectrum that's linked to the Green Lantern rings and other multicolored ring bearers of the DC universe. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Wow. You got me on that?
Well, that's a new thing that Jeff Johns introduced. I believe it was like in the Flashpoint, which is like 2011. So it's really new. And I'm not a fan of the Green Lanterns. I just happen to know that because they had an Easter egg for it on the Flash Arrow crossover. Also, when John was drawing in the sand, it reminded me of one of the Future In comic book covers that I just read. And then when I went over to comicbooks.com, they thought so too.
Oh, which one?
What issue is that? It's like issue 18. The New 52 features in issue number 18. That's pretty much all that there was to talk about. Besides Chaz, he does actually have a daughter. And she's like, she should be a teenager if they're keeping anything to the comic books. And so, she's at that age where, yeah, she's probably going to need a father's influence. So yeah, those are about all the Easter eggs that I had. Oh, and supposedly, so I had to school somebody. I don't think this was a DC reference. It definitely was like a Marvel reference because there's seashells underneath the mask, and The only hero that I know that has seashells, like for summoning seashells, is like the submariner from Marvel.
I was going to say Aquaman, but
no, he doesn't have summoning seashells. He's not that corny. He might be corny, but not that corny. But anyway, yep. So let's get to episode awards, starting with the grade.
Grade, I gave it a B- because there was no Chaz.
I gave it a B.
Oh.
I gave it a B simply because I thought it started off a little bit slow. It basically picked up as soon as they found Imogen. And that was wonderful.
Yes.
But, so that would be the only thing that knocked it down a little bit for me. I kind of did, I hate to say this, find the preacher annoying. I'm sorry.
It was supposed to be the point of that character.
I know, and I know that's completely subjective, but that just somehow, it was just like almost, I don't know, beyond. But, that was my take. And I really do think that this was, again, if it had been placed with the other 2 episodes that did propel the series forward, and we didn't have the step back with the out of place episode, I think things would be much better.
I actually gave this episode an A because of the fiasco that happened last week. It shows Constantine's ability to bounce back story-wise and really just give you a solid, hard-hitting hour. And I think that everything on the technical side was amazing. Like I said, the dialogue kicked it up a notch, even though it's still so simple and stripped down, but like they have to. Like, you can't make it too complicated for people that want to watch it casually, you know? And I understand that.
Right.
I think this shows what Constantine is made of. All right, scene of the night.
Rick, you want to go
yeah,
first?
Yeah, sure. Scene of the night for me was me and Imogen in the barn when they were speaking to each other, and when he was asking her about pain, or he doesn't actually technically, she kind of assumes he's about to ask her about feeling, and she talks to him about it, and then the sunshine and everything else, and I thought that was a really wonderful scene. I thought it was well written, well acted, and it just went a long way to like fill in the mythology of the story.
Okay. That's nice. And I'm going to go the exact opposite and stick with what I've been doing this entire season. The scene of the night for me was when Zed was in her art class and what she was drawing.
Oh, good.
I love you, Carol Lee. You said it so I didn't have to, so I can pick a different scene. Okay.
I have to look at all your scenes of the
now Rick's worried.
Yeah, they're starting to get a little bit.
I will agree with you. I think, like, overall, it's most important to the story. That scene between Manny and Imogene is flawless. It's perfect. It was well acted. It was pitch perfect. But for me, I think I like the simple moments with, like, Constantine and Zed, where he's trying to pry information out of her ever so casually and failing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just that she's just like, Zed feels duplicitous, like an enigma wrapped in duplicity, wrapped in, you know, a puzzle wrapped in chocolate and velvet. Like, I love to hate Zed and then I hate to love her. Like, I just don't know what's going on with her, and I just enjoy their chemistry together in this episode so much. Line of the night.
Okay, I'll go first because I think Rick has the same line, so I'm going to try. He gave them free will to stand on their own, and all they do is fall over and over and over. And then Manny and Imogen, she continues with the over and over and over.
Yeah. And that's when she kind of tries to seduce him into the concept. Don't you want when you want this planet back? Wouldn't you want to, you know, she's kind of like looking for an ally in an underhanded way.
Right.
And not unfortunately, actually, but that's my line of the night as well. Gave them free will to stand on their own, and all they do is fall.
I had 2 actually that I just really stuck with me. It was when Pastor Zachary said, "We're going to need to build a bigger church," because it's a Jaws reference. I always love a Jaws reference.
We're going to need to kind of big.
I like the funny stuff. Like, I thought that was funny and cute. And then also, you know, John has basically had it with Manny. He goes, "You're either in this bloody fight with me or you're not." And I think it took like a second for Manny to process and weigh the benefits of him helping John and him not. Most memorable moment of the night?
Okay.
Well, you want to go?
I'll go. Memorable moment. I think when Zach actually opens up to John and tells him that he killed someone. And instead of going to heaven, he figures out he was actually going to hell.
Yeah. Okay. My most memorable scene was Imogen rising from the leaves. I'm sorry. That just completely stuck me, and I just went, whoa. This is a whole different episode.
It was good cinematography, yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice. So that was the most memorable scene.
I think my favorite one had to be when she rises as the fallen angel, and the look on everybody's face like we've been duped.
Right?
Yep. Yep. It's right there. All right, can I put like a second memorable scene because I thought it was way too much fun.
Sure.
When they're in the church and John's trying to hold everybody back. And they begin to break the door down. The ghouls begin to break the door down. And he turns around, and they go into a slow-motion punch fest. It was great. I mean, that was really cool. It was like old Sam Peckinpah. It was like, and I went, wow, I didn't see that coming. I went, all right, way to go, Constantine. I liked that scene as well.
Okay. Character of the night. I have a feeling Rick and I might have the same character. So you can go first, Carolee.
I'm going to say Imogen.
Oh, me too. Then
Yep,
there you go.
Usually that's the unanimous part, right?
I thought she was going to go with the male model too.
No, that was too small of a cameo. She has some integrity, Rick.
See, because she was such a character. I mean, you felt so sorry for her at the very beginning, and then she ended up so evil, and it just took me by surprise.
Best action?
Best action, Rick. Go ahead.
Best action. I actually liked the scene only because it was I thought it was a little bit silly. I liked the slow motion scene that I just mentioned big time. But I kind of liked him when he was, when they were down at the lake and he was, beating the ghouls up with the bat. Well, it wasn't a bat. It was a branch or whatever it was, but I thought that was kind of fun. I don't know why.
Oh, you're such a boy.
I am.
No, I like that one too.
I like my best action was when Manny changed, Zed to Manny and then took Imogen's heart out. And then Zed was left going, what am I holding?
That's a good
I don't think that was the shot of the night was the beating black heart.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the screenshot of the night.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting because it was still beating for a second.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, best character interaction.
Character interactions. Manny and Imogen, I think, about talking about Earth, about feelings. I can't, how does it feel for the sun to shine on your face? How does it feel? Manny doesn't know how any of this feels.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we're all kind of blown away by that scene, and that was that really encapsulates a large part of the episode. Anyway, I feel that definitely the character interaction between those two was great, especially since I felt as though Manny was like being entranced by her, almost seduced by her, when she began to talk about what a waste it was to give human beings free will and this beautiful place for them to carry it out in. And because Manny kind of feels a little bit the same way about, because you have free will, we can't interfere and things like that. So I really did. I really enjoyed that scene.
I actually liked Zed in the male model too. Like, she's like, you know what? I need a little me time, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you my number. And she told him what was what and where to meet her. And I was like, okay, I like you, Zed. I like that part of you, Zed.
That was good.
But definitely Manny. And then also Manny and Constantine at the end of the episode where they're having that conversation. Like I said, I was surprised to see him in the mill house. And, supposedly he does have other wards to watch over. So, yeah. So, biggest shock, surprise of the night, obviously the twist.
The twist. That's what I was going to
right.
say,
yeah,
definitely.
I think we're all there on that one.
Is it like purgatory?
No, I think, it was. It was the fact that we thought, she was an angel that was ascending to heaven, and actually she was a fallen angel that was going to hell.
To hell. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any theories or predictions?
Oh, gosh. No, I don't really think I have any theories, predictions. I just want the characters, all three, not just two at a time, all three to interact.
Oh, she has a suggestion.
Yeah.
You hear that, David S. Goyer and Daniel Cerrone? She has suggestions.
Please, more background, more interaction between the three characters.
What about you, Rick? Any theories, predictions, questions, or suggestions?
I originally had the theory that Manny was going to be the one who was going to sort of betray Constantine.
Evil.
that Papa Midnight basically said, or his sister actually told him. But I think that maybe, given the complexity of Zed through this particular episode and the way her past is going to unfold, I think she might end up doing something that she might get caught between a rock and a hard place somewhere, and she might have to do something that she doesn't necessarily want to do, but she does anyway, and it might screw Constantine over. If she is going to be the one to betray him, I think they're going to do it in a way that we can have sympathy for what she does. And I'm not sure about Manny right now. I don't know if Manny's going to betray him.
The way that they, with the conversation with Emojin, it was just like, maybe he doesn't mean to, but like he starts that envy. You know, envy is just like the worst of the sins, really. It just creeps in and doesn't let go.
Right. Yeah. Right. And like I said, and it's pretty evident that she does catch his attention, to say the least, when she starts talking about, don't you want this world, when you want this world back.
She inceptioned his butt.
Yeah.
I want to shout out to Zachary here, who leaves comments almost every week on our Facebook page, which can be found if you look in the search bar on Facebook, the Newcastle Crew Podcast. So shout out to that. Don't feel free to leave messages. Like I read them all, and I'm happy to shout you out. We got 2 good reviews on iTunes already. So I want to encourage you guys to rate, review, and subscribe to us over on iTunes. But we're like found everywhere. Stitcher, Lisbon, pretty much any of your podcasting catcher services we are on, thanks to our wonderful executive producer and owner of Southgate Media Group. Because not everybody has iTunes. But I learned that podcast, and I'm just like, how can you not have iTunes? For podcasts specifically. Like, any new tweets on Twitter at the Newcastle Crew?
Nope, we don't have any yet, but if you would like, you can send us any messages, theories, questions, comments on Twitter at Newcastle Crew.
So it looks like that just about does it for us here at the Newcastle Crew Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed our discussion of episode 107, Blessed Are the Damned.
This is Carolee, Lilith, and Rick signing off. And remember, not all angels of a feather flock together.